All right, guys, Coach Conway here. This is a brute shoot, and we're going to talk about squatting. It's a real popular topic in the CrossFit community. I think it certainly was a few years ago, while everyone was under the impression that you had to be, so strong to participate in CrossFit and be good at it. And certainly I'm mentioning more on the competitive side, and we all understand that there's a baseline of strength that is necessary to have the ability to show up at regionals or the potential to make it to the CrossFit Games. Like, those things are true. But in the big picture, what I notice most is that athletes are constantly striving to continually load the bar. And when I say that, I mean by all means, right? So one of the unfocused aspects of CrossFit, or one of the most overlooked things, is the element of virtuosity, right? If you guys take a step back and you look at the best athletes to ever play our sport, the Rich Fronings, even the Matt Frazier, the Ben Smith, if you guys were to take a look at their movement, and I mean in the absence of weight, like hand them a PVC pipe and watch them do a front squat, hand them a PVC pipe to overhead squat, maybe even air squat, right? You would see components of their movement where you were just like, oh my gosh, they make this look completely effortless, right? Whereas we've got athletes in our community that lack awareness in the bottom of their squat position. They don't necessarily understand what a proper knees out cue means. They struggle to keep the weight back in their heels. Or they're severely in an immature squatting type position where the torso is now cantilevered forward and that front rack position's ugly. You're putting all kinds of crazy, nasty stress on your shoulders, right? The point is, I see a ton of guys in my gym coming in all the time and they're like, yeah, Adrian, we're on the squat cycle. We're not gonna hit the WOD today. We're just gonna do the small loft junior or the junior junior or the big junior Mac daddy or something. They're doing all these squat cycles that are developed for athletes that actually have come up in the school of weightlifting. And when I say the school of weightlifting, I mean like these athletes that have followed these cycles on a successful level have been prepping almost their entire lives to succeed at high level Olympic weightlifting. And they're starting to introduce their body to a stimulus that it's very unprepared for, and primarily because of the amateurism of the movement as simple as their air squat itself. So my encouragement to you guys, or I guess my challenge to the CrossFit community, is to spend some time, one, understanding exactly what it entails to have virtuosity in the air squat and pursue those things, right? That means set out a camera, do an EMOM where you're doing nothing but air squats, and every time you rock off your heels, the rep don't count. You gotta go back and do it again. Every time you feel your knees buckle in, the rep doesn't count, right? Or every time you notice that your weight shifts in a direction where you start to lose control, or maybe it's a posture thing and you're starting to lose that midline posture that we're trying to sustain in the bottom. Like, I don't want you to count it. I want you to master the skills that will allow you to develop it in a higher capacity, right? So let's spend more time air squatting, practicing the air squat, finding the nuances that you can yourself improve before we start and continue to worry about the loads that we're putting on the barbells. I can guarantee you your body will be healthier and your gains will come much faster if you focus on the basics. Remember, virtuosity is a key component in any aspect of CrossFit, and that's to do the common uncommonly well.